Help me hit 2,000 subscribers. What began as a harmless joke, a little something to get a few laughs, spiraled into something far heavier. At least, that's what I told myself later that night, when the laughter had faded and the quiet of the room pressed down like a weight. We were at a small dinner gathering in Seattle, surrounded by old college friends, their partners, and a handful of Ryan's co-workers. The evening was warm, filled with laughter, clinking glasses, and easy conversation. I was feeling daring, maybe even reckless. Ryan had always been the steady presence, the quiet observer, the man who never felt the need to impress anyone. That night, though, I think I wanted to shake him a little, to see a side of him that wasn't so composed in front of everyone. When the topic turned to marriage stories, I pounced. I teased him relentlessly, calling him unromantic, joking that he'd rather watch a documentary than plan a date night. I quipped that being married to him sometimes felt more like living with a responsible roommate than a husband. The table erupted in laughter. For a brief moment, I felt clever, admired, alive. Then I looked at Ryan. His smile was there, but it didn't reach his eyes. His gaze was calm, too calm, holding something I couldn't quite identify. It wasn't anger. It was deeper, colder. He didn't answer immediately. He waited until the laughter faded and the energy in the room thinned. Then, with deliberate calm, he set his glass down and said, "You're right, Lisa. I stopped trying to be witty when I realized I couldn't compete with the attention you crave from everyone else." The silence that followed was suffocating. Even the usual background noises, the clatter of forks, the rustle of napkins, stopped. My smile froze, and I tried to turn it into another joke, but Ryan spoke again. Quietly, controlled, devastating. "You've always wanted to make me the punchline so you could feel superior. I didn't marry a performer, Lisa. I married someone I thought respected me. Maybe I was wrong." His voice never rose, which made every word cut even deeper. Each sentence landed like a weight, quietly breaking something inside me I hadn't realized was so fragile. Someone cleared their throat and muttered about dessert, but I couldn't face anyone. My face burned. My chest felt tight. Without another word, Ryan stood and walked to the balcony. I followed after a moment, stepping into the cold night air. "I didn't mean it like that," I whispered, my voice nearly swallowed by the wind. "He didn't turn," he said softly. "You never do," I replied. "But that doesn't make the hurt any less." The drive home was silent. The distance between us felt endless. At home, he went straight to the bedroom and quietly packed an overnight bag. "Where are you going?" I asked, my voice barely steady. "To my brother's for a while," he replied without looking at me. "You wanted a husband who entertains," I said. "Congratulations. You got your story." And just like that, he left. No yelling, no slammed doors, just quiet, unyielding finality. I sat on the couch for hours, staring at the empty space, realizing I had humiliated the one person who had never once disrespected me. The days that followed were unbearable. Friends reached out hesitantly, unsure what to say. I called, sent messages, pleaded, but Ryan didn't respond. A week later, one brief message appeared. "You broke something you can't fix with an apology." I cried reading it. He wasn't angry. He was simply done. 2 weeks later, I showed up at his brother's house. Ryan answered the door, calm but distant, his eyes weary. "I'm sorry," I said, my voice shaking, knowing I'd crossed a line. He nodded but didn't invite me in. "You've always been funny, Lisa," he said softly. "But real love isn't supposed to be a joke." Then he closed the door. That night, I understood something I couldn't ignore. Some mistakes can't be undone. Some apologies can't rebuild what pride and ego destroy. Ryan never sought revenge, never tried to make me feel the pain I caused. He simply walked away, dignity intact. And in the end, that quiet, unshakable silence became the loudest lesson of all.